2, baby. It's just 2 minutes. Your 2-minute tax tip starts now. Okay, here we go. This is a new one, baby. This is a new tax deduction. I can't believe it. The IRS came out with something new and exciting, and it's been 30 years since we've had anything like this.
Than ever before.
Taxes have gotten more exciting. Can you believe it? This is me excited. Give me a fist bump, Donald Trump. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about Donald Trump's new tax reform, specifically the pass-through deductions that pass-through entities are going to have for 2018 going forward till 2027. So if you are a pass-through entity and you're looking for an additional deduction, congratulations. You made it to the promised land. This is the moment you've been waiting for, but we only have 2 minutes, so let's dive right in. Okay, so here are the basics. We're going to dive into one of the largest and most impactful tax deductions available to owners of pass-through entities. In December of last year, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, i.e. known as Trump's tax reform, was passed, and they added a new tax deduction for taxpayers with qualified business income. Everyone's been calling the deduction the pass-through deduction, which reduces qualified business income by 20% of the amount that's passing through. So for example, let's say you have a small business and your net income is $100,000. Under the new tax reform, you get to remove 20% of that net income away from $100,000 and claim and pay taxes only on $80,000 of net income. So who's this new pass-through deduction for? Well, I can tell you right now, it's not for the 1%. It's for all Americans here in the United States. Basically put, it's for entities known as pass-through entities, things such as partnerships, S-corporations, sole proprietorships, LLCs, taxed as pass-through entities, and net business real estate rental businesses. If you'd like to know more about how to take this pass-through deduction and the powerful tax savings of an S-Corp, be sure to click up here, which will tell you more about an online course that we have for you. So this new deduction, this pass-through deduction, only is for pass-through entities. If you're not a pass-through entity, like a C-Corp, this deduction is not for you. And just to answer all the curious minds out there, yes, this reform, this new tax deduction is for small businesses all the way down to, let's say, $1 revenue. If you have a pass-through situation or you have a pass-through business entity, this deduction is for you. Now, for the sake of time, we're just going to mention the 2 pass-throughs that the tax reform outlined as far as those qualified for this pass-through deduction. Number 1, service-based businesses. Now, the tax reform talks about service-based businesses, so if you are a healthcare provider, if you're an attorney, an accountant, you do actuarial services, you do performing arts, consulting, athletics, financial services, things of this sort, you are considered a service-based business, which falls underneath this pass-through deduction. The second kind of pass-through the tax reform touched on is a non-service-based business. Basically, anything that wasn't in the list that I just mentioned. All right, guys, we're out of time. Oh, but wait a minute. We have enough time for bonus tip. Bonus tip. All right. Welcome to the bonus tip portion of this video. Okay, so are there any pass-through deduction loopholes? I think there are. Now, what we would encourage you to do is obviously talk to your tax professional and run this by your certified public accountant, so don't take our word on it, but we want to throw an idea out there. So because the tax reform really does make a case and is trying to distinguish service-based businesses versus non-service-based businesses, because if you're a service-based business, the phase-out or the pass-through deduction starts to get phased out a lot earlier than when you're a non-service-based business where the phase-out starts to get applied or phase out later. Then there could be a potential loophole to consider breaking apart your service-based business versus your non-service-based business. So for example, I do accounting, which falls into the service-based business area of the tax reform, but my YouTube channel continues to do well. Thank you guys for watching. Then it's a non-service-based piece of revenue. So then I can form a separate entity for that non-service-based revenue and maximize my tax reform deduction through this non-service-based entity and keep my accounting practice, which is my service-based business, separate from my non-service. So this could be a potential loophole in the tax reform, and I know that over time the IRS will close loopholes, but in the meantime, if you have a business where you have a majority of your revenue coming from either service, or you can distinguish between service and non-service in a business entity, speak with your tax professional, consider stripping both apart and forming separate entities, one for the service-based activity and another one for the non-service-based activity. And by doing this, the hope is that underneath this new tax reform, you'll be able to maximize your pass-through deductions. Okay, thank you guys for watching. That's it for now. Hopefully that answered all your questions in regards to Donald Trump's new pass-through deduction. That's right, baby, blow it up. And if you are a pass-through entity, or you don't know whether or not you are a pass-through entity, or you're trying to think about whether or not to start a pass-through entity, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're going to be talking about all these topics to try to help you, Mr. and Mrs. American, save taxes. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys at the next video. Wow, that was the best 2 minutes of your life. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully we were able to answer all your questions with our 2-minute tip. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the button below and check out this video over here for our latest release and that playlist down there for our best playlist, and we'll see you guys at the next video.